Hey, what's happening, guys? Welcome back to Rule of Two Review. So, yesterday I put out another call on Twitter for a question or a topic suggestion because I did that, of course, a couple of days ago to great success. Terminator Juice, who I do the podcast with every Monday, asked me a really awesome question about Nintendo, the NX, and all the rumors and everything. Had a lot of fun answering it. It's been a very popular video. A lot of people had some elements to add to the discussion, and it was pretty cool. So I had a lot of fun doing that, and I figured I would do that again. So yesterday, like I said, I put out another call on Twitter, and I got a pretty good question that I wanted to talk about. I actually got quite a few questions around the NX, the Nintendo NX again, which I kind of knew to expect. And as much as, yes, I really enjoy talking about it because I'm so excited to find out what's going on, guys, it's just too many topics about the NX right now. It's just too easy. It's kind of like a gimme, and I don't want to do just like the obvious video that's going to just get so many crazy views. As much as I want every video to do well, I don't want to do one like that. So I appreciate the NX questions, you guys, and obviously I'll be talking about it more as the months go on when things start to happen. But for now, I got a really good non-NX question, which I thought was pretty cool, so I wanted to discuss. So this question comes from Twitter user Joseph Gonzalez at the Triple J Zoo. I don't know why that's a tongue twister. The Triple J Zoo. He asks, how do you think Animal Crossing and Fire Emblem Mobile will affect the mobile market? Great question, because Nintendo and the mobile side of Nintendo is a pretty big deal right now, obviously. Not just because Miitomo, which launched a couple of months ago, was a massive success for about a week or two, but because we're here in the aftermath of Pokemon Go, man. Pokemon Go has taken the planet by storm. It's insane, and I fully admit that I have not downloaded or tried it yet. Plenty of my friends, plenty of my coworkers in the office, and my girlfriend have all downloaded it and are playing it. So I've certainly grasped and gotten to see what the game is really like and what's going on there. Super cool. I love the idea of it. I actually my phone's a little bit too old. It's kind of like glitching. It's like a 3-year-old iPhone, and if you know iPhones, they're shit basically after 2 years. So I'm going to be upgrading when the new iPhone comes out pretty soon, and at that point I'll probably download it. But right now I don't want to put such a resource-heavy app on my current phone because I feel like my phone will just melt and explode. So anyway, I've seen what Pokemon Go is. It seems really great. Everyone's loving it. It's making a ton of money. At first we thought Nintendo was making jillions of dollars off of it, and then we learned, okay, they're making some money off of it, but it's far less than people initially thought. So still, it's doing well, and everyone's making money, and everyone loves it. It's like the #1 app on all the different app stores for the different phones and carriers. And that's pretty cool. So Nintendo, a real, true, tried and true gaming company, is seeing crazy success with their first 2 apps on cell phones. And that's pretty cool. And we know that they're moving forward with this DNA partnership soon, and we don't really know what that is. We've seen 2 fantastically successful examples, but we know they're still trying to dip their toes in it. Is it going to be important to the Nintendo NX and their traditional gaming business model going forward? I think it will, but we don't know that yet. Are they going to make, what kind of other games are they going to do? They have said, this is the reason for the question here from Joseph Gonzalez. Again, thank you so much for the question, by the way. They have said that they've also confirmed an Animal Crossing and a Fire Emblem mobile experience are on the way. That is something they're working on. But the real question, as he asks, is what is the real plan there? So that's a tricky one. But I think that it's going to be a good thing. I think that we are learning that Nintendo is kind of figuring out exactly how to take what it is they typically do and what a traditional game maker, software maker, and console manufacturer can do on the mobile space with some of their games and their properties and franchises. And I feel like what they're doing with Animal Crossing and Fire Emblem is going to be similarly as excellent as Pokemon Go. Now, what I don't think is that either of these games could possibly be as big or as successful, at least right out of the gate, as Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go is like a Wii kind of thing, where it's sort of like, I'm willing to bet, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like it's like that lightning in a bottle scenario, where for some reason, it just was with the small little marketing push, it hit at the right time, got into enough people's brains, and enough people were talking about it that everyone had to get in on it, and it turned out to be a great product, which, by the way, is a huge part of why it's successful. And so everyone got on board and loved it, and now everyone's talking about it, and there's whole communities, and it's just so fantastic. When it comes to Animal Crossing and Fire Emblem, I feel like they're going to do one of 2 things. With the 2 of them, I think that they're going to take what is the basic structure of those games in their respective franchises. Very different games, very different play styles for each of those franchises. But I think that they're going to take them and find some brilliant, ingenious way to mold them to the mobile application sort of structure of how you interact with a mobile game, make it work for the cell phone and tablet community, and do that. When it comes to Animal Crossing specifically, I feel like you have a lot more room to play, because that's the real thing. The real question is, what the hell do you do with Fire Emblem? With Animal Crossing, I feel like you can, and I have no idea what you could do, but you can make it even more applicable to that phone experience, just like what they did with Pokemon Go. They took the essence, the core of what the Pokemon story and universe and idea is, and made it work with cell phones, because you can just go out in the world and find things with your cell phone, and it's great. It's just like catching Pokemon. Animal Crossing, kind of the same thing, because it's got all these cute little critters, which is exactly what Pokemon are. And you interact with them in different ways, such as you build your house, you interact with the towns, you interact with the mayor and the person who runs the bakery and the person who runs the clothing store and the person who has the fishing hole and all these different things. I feel like they can take the core of that and also make it, I hate to say it, but probably an ARG kind of experience, just like Pokemon Go is, where you pick your character and you sort of exist in an ARG version of a town. And you can visit other people's towns by getting close to them on their phones. And all of a sudden, similar to like what Street Pass is for the 3DS, you are interacting with people, your character in their house, and your friend next to you, or this stranger next to you, and their character in their house. And all of a sudden, you guys are working together. And hey, oh, you want to decorate your house? You know, when you look around in your camera, it looks like it's your Animal Crossing house instead of your actual house. Maybe you want a cool rug or a neat poster. You know, especially Nintendo-themed sort of Easter eggs. That's the kind of stuff where the microtransactions will come in. And yes, microtransactions are terrible. But for something like this mobile stuff, that's how you make money. That's how Pokemon Go has made, I think, billions of dollars. I think it's already 2.6 or so billion in the first month. I could be wrong. But regardless, millions of dollars. So much money. And it's from transactions like that. And I think Animal Crossing could aid in taking that experience and making it an ARG sort of world within the cell phone community, and I think that it could be really cool. I won't get in on it. My girlfriend's an Animal Crossing maniac. I'm sure she will. And that's one element of how it could be. Now with Fire Emblem, I feel like we would probably be looking at something like a more traditional, two ideas. One would be a more traditional gaming experience. I genuinely think with I almost said Fire Crossing. That's a totally different thing. Fire Emblem, I feel like we could see them actually try to make a pseudo Fire Emblem experience only for touchscreen mobile gaming, you know, on cell phones and tablets. And you know, that's a little bit treading into dangerous territory, because when this whole idea first came out about them doing mobile, one of the big fears, and I shared and kind of do still share this fear, is that they would take their traditional core games and franchises and those experiences and kind of just start releasing them or making games for the mobile platforms instead of their home console and their handheld. And with Fire Emblem doing what I'm suggesting here, they would sort of be doing that, where they would say, oh, instead of making a new Fire Emblem game, we'll just make this new Fire Emblem game for phones. And it's almost like us who play the traditional core games on the actual hardware, we might feel cheated. And Fire Emblem's a wonky example because we're hot off the heels of a big major Fire Emblem release a couple of months ago. I'm actually playing through Birthright right now, and it's fantastic. Because of that, I feel like it would be more acceptable to do something like Fire Emblem right now and make it some sort of actual traditional strategic combat-centric RPG only on cell phones. I think we really might see something like that, guys. Maybe it's free to play. Maybe it doesn't cost anything to get into it, but you can buy certain upgrades and things. And honestly, I feel like that's a pretty good idea. Now, the other thing that they might do with Fire Emblem, for anyone who's familiar with that series, you know, a huge part of the core mechanic to these games in this series is the drama. And it's the story, and it's the characters and how they build relationships, both that you attach to and also how they attach to each other. So what they could do on the mobile side, and this I think also has a lot of potential to really happen, is I'm not going to call it like a Fire Emblem dating sim, but you might be getting the idea where the character drama and interacting maybe with other people, because that's been the secret sauce to me, Tomo, and Pokemon Go, where the character you create in a Fire Emblem app that's a Fire Emblem world sort of person might interact and create some sort of character drama where you're leveling up and building relationships with other people with their characters on their phones and tablets as you're out in the world. And as someone who isn't a game developer, I can't go any deeper into the ideas in that, but I'm willing to bet you can probably sort of close your eyes and picture what I'm getting at, where you're just you're leveling up your character's influence to other Fire Emblem characters out in the real world that are in people's phones. And there's some pretty cool ideas. Maybe that also becomes something where they're mixing the character drama and relationships also with combat in a cell phone experience that might also be an ARG game. I just feel like ARG is it's just part of this formula that might really work for Nintendo's core game franchises working cell phones and tablets in the mobile market. So I don't know. That's just a couple of ideas on how those might work. Long story short, I think that considering they're the only two franchises that Nintendo has confirmed, we have to remember, no doubt they're working on other things, but these two have been confirmed. I feel like they were actually really smart choices. We have to wait and see what they actually do with them. Maybe it becomes something really minimalistic and even kind of cheesy. It could be like an Animal Crossing slot machine, something really dumb like that. A Fire Emblem card game, something dumb, which actually, if it's more like a Magic the Gathering kind of card game, actually would be really great. Now that I think about it, that would be freaking awesome. But I meant more like a solitaire, like a dumb 52 card deck sort of card game, or something, something cheesy that's like a really dumb kind of mobile app, just with like a theme that with pictures from these franchises and stuff. It could be something like that, you guys. Maybe they're not putting as much effort into this as they did with Miitomo and Pokemon Go. But I'm willing to bet it's more than that. I think Nintendo, they very rarely half-ass things. Yes, they make dumb decisions and they mess up a lot, but it's usually not from half-assing things. It's just from not knowing any better or just miscalculating what the next move should have been. With this, I feel like they're going to put some effort into these two franchises specifically, try to make them great mobile experiences. And if that happens, if Nintendo can go 4 for 4 on their first 4 mobile apps with this new DNA partnership and mobile initiative, that'd be awesome. That would be great. Not to mention that comes on the heels of 3 of their major franchises making it into these games or into these the mobile experience. And I think that would be great. Also, imagine if something like if a new Fire Emblem game for the 3DS or the NX comes out, or a new Animal Crossing or a new Pokemon, what if some of how we've interacted and earned things in the cell phone games will also translate into the NX experiences once that happens? Because obviously there's a lot of thought and rumor that part of the mobile initiative is meant to build into their new network, their business model for the NX, and just the actual gaming experience on the NX. So maybe that's what's going to happen too. There's a ton of ideas. I just probably listed like 48 different ideas on just how Animal Crossing and Fire Emblem could work with Nintendo's mobile push. So long story, not so short, we're going to wait and see. Sometime, I'm sure, before the end of the year, maybe after the NX reveal, maybe during the NX reveal, maybe right after the new year, in the next probably, 3 to 6 or 7 months, I think Nintendo will pull the lid off of these two properties and what they're doing on the mobile side. Maybe even the whole mobile initiative. Maybe now that we've had the 2 first little kind of dabs with Miitomo and Pokemon Go, they're finally going to be like, and here's the everything. This is what we're doing. And that'd be really neat. I'm sure Animal Crossing and Fire Emblem will get wrapped up in that announcement. So that's what I think might be happening with Fire Emblem and with Animal Crossing on the mobile side whenever Nintendo finally shows us these 2 games. What do you guys think about this? How do you feel about everything that's happened so far with Nintendo and the mobile? Obviously, Pokemon Go, everyone's loving it. What do you think about my ideas of Animal Crossing and Fire Emblem on mobile? And what do you think might happen with these 2 franchises? Super curious to hear other people's ideas. One last time, thank you so much to Joseph Gonzalez for asking me the really awesome question. I appreciate that it wasn't an NX question. I'm sure I'll get back to NX stuff very soon, but I like to break it up. There's so much happening in gaming, not just NX mystery. I kind of want to talk more about that kind of stuff sometimes. So like I said, I wish I had more of a reason to talk about Sony or Microsoft or other things. I just can never find a reason. I'm about to wrap up Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider. And through that, I've also purchased from Amazon one of the older Tomb Raider games for a reason that is very important. And so I think I might, once Rise of the Tomb Raider's done, maybe I'm going to make a video discussing my thoughts on that game and what I think about Lara Croft currently as an old school Lara Croft fan, which I am, even though I never talk about that. I have a couple of things I might want to talk about. So maybe I do that. Tell me what you guys think. Anyway, tell me what you think about the mobile stuff, Nintendo, Animal Crossing, Fire Emblem. Of course, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. This is Rob of Rule 2 Review, and I'll catch you guys next time on another video.